Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem, live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio, and we got ourselves a loaded show tonight. We got NXT, we got AEW Dynamite, the Grand Slam show from Arthur Ashe Stadium, and we also got a preview tonight. We're previewing the Extreme Rules that's going down this Sunday night, live on pay per view and on Peacock. So with that said, we're just going to dive right on into NXT 2.0 that was held last night. We started off with a promo segment by the new NXT World Champion Tommaso Ciampa, but he had a whole bunch of guys at ringside. There was a whole bunch of interruptions along the way, too many to count. But I'll say this: amazing. This was a good opening. Good opening, solid opener. I don't mind seeing Tommaso Ciampa as the frontline soldier of NXT 2.0. I liked what they did. I liked the body of work. I think this was really good, solid for what it was worth. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, um, minus the old school mosh pit that NXT had the night they were celebrating the Survivor Series victory, but it really kind of felt like that in a way, but it was still pretty solid for what it was worth.
MF, it was a solid but chaotic start as NXT 2.0 set up a variety of matches for the rest of the night between the present and future of the brand. Some arrivals felt a bit contrived, but it was a better way to announce these makeshift matches than trying to sell them beforehand. Tommaso Ciampa put over several names in the action while others felt out of place. The end goal here was clear: ensure that these newer stars can work right alongside the stalwarts. The results of the matches to follow would define the success of this opener. So there isn't much more to say except we're about to get into a match where it should have happened. It was supposed to happen some time ago, but some outside circumstance prevented it from happening. But we finally got it last night. MF title match here on a Cruiserweight Championship of the World on the line.
Yes, it was. And it was Roderick Strong versus Kushida, the winner of the bout, in 5 minutes and 42 seconds. And the new NXT Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Roderick Strong. He wins the title. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
2.5 to 3 stars. Second best fight of the night. Roderick Strong and Kushida competed at a high level, though they deserved more time and the main event spot. These men could go twice as long without breaking a sweat. Both are technically focused, but also can get into a strike war. Diamond Mine was clearly a huge priority for the new NXT. It was no surprise to see Strong win the title. He will likely dominate the Cruiserweight division for a while, but hopefully that will not come at the expense of Kushida. The Japanese superstar has massive upside and should move to the North American Championship or even the NXT title scene. He has so many great matches to still have in NXT. There's no doubt about this. I can only call this a fun little sprint, 2.5 to 3 stars, but MF, imagine if they have more time.
Oh man, if they would have had at least 10 or 15 minutes, oh my god, this would have been at least four or maybe five with the way that these two guys would have gone. But I gotta say 2.5 is the right rating. Not only that, but the way that Roderick Strong won the title was a little bit of an unfortunate. But I get why they did it, because you want to make the Diamond Mine a legitimate threat, and to use the strength in numbers theory is good. It doesn't hurt Kushida that he did lose the title that way. So, I mean, it was fine for what it was worth. I mean, there's really nothing more to add. We will move on along. Next up we had was Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller. And Kaylee Ray wins the match in a minute 35. We don't need to really get into that. It was more of a showcase fight for Kaylee Ray. I actually don't mind that she got the win. Look, she's got major upside. Obviously, the longest reigning NXT United Kingdom champion there ever was in the company. The company is now defunct. It's gone. But Kaylee Ray comes to the United States, and she is, without a doubt, at least in my mind, one of the biggest threats to Raquel Gonzalez's NXT Women's title. She could easily take the belt off her and have a lengthy run with that. So, I mean, we'll wait and see how that plays out. Then we had Dante Chen versus Trey Baxter. Dante Chen wins the match in less than a minute, 59 seconds on the clock. That really shocked me more than anything else because I did not think Chen was going to do that quick of a time. We got nothing more on that one. Then we had Cameron Grimes versus Joe Gracie. Cameron Grimes wins the match in 2 minutes and 49 seconds. You know, I don't know about this one. Not sure about his self-righteous gimmick and everything else. I'm kind of iffy about this one as well. So we got Anna Shearer versus Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez wins the match in a minute 27. Another short match. Really nothing crazy to go about on this one. Anthony, if you want to give any quick thoughts, I know these were really short matches. You could even call NA the duds on a lot of these matches here. Then we had Odyssey.
No comment. No comment. You're doing the right thing. Move on.
All right. Odyssey Jones in a 2-on-1 tornado handicap. He wins that match in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Again, nothing going there. Then we had Mandy Rose with the Toxic Attraction. They cut a promo, basically laid the whole groundwork on everything in NXT, what they're going to do, the whole 9 yards. Really nothing more to add on that one. Leads us to the main event. Bond Breakker and Tommaso Ciampa versus Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland. When it was all said and done, Bond Breakker and Tommaso Ciampa wins the match in 9 minutes and 47 seconds. Anthony, finally, we get you on the show after all those cutouts for NXT. It's all yours.
Ugh. But I do want to address the Toxic Attraction for a moment. They've been built well into a dangerous trio, the first real all-female stable in NXT. Mandy Rose working as the experienced leader, while Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are the bad influences, turning God's greatest creation into someone far more dangerous. Dolan and Jane are going to be challenging Io Shirai and Zoe Stark for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles next week, and they could legitimately dethrone them. No NXT Women's Tag title reign has lasted through multiple defenses, and Toxic Attraction have more momentum and hype behind them in NXT 2.0 than the champions. And the big positive is that this week set the stage for the more female-focused show next week. 2 women's title matches will define that show and hopefully make for a stronger episode. And MF, before I give you my thoughts on the main event, which was the fight of the night, spoiler alert,
Okay.
hands down, is it just me, MF, or does Toxic Attraction kind of remind you of the Dollhouse from Impact Wrestling?
You know what? I was thinking that. What about the Beautiful People? I think that's a better representation than the Dollhouse. Even though the Dollhouse was very dangerous, very lethal. Taryn Terrell, Marty Bell, and Mia Yim, yeah,
who was Jade.
That was who was Jade at the time. Yes.
No, I mean, you make a compelling argument there, but to me, I get more of a Dollhouse vibe from those three. I do. I mean, that's what I was thinking about.
Wasn't that we just blurred out about the Dollhouse? Because if you're talking about Beautiful People, I was thinking more of Velvet Sky, Madison Rayne, and Angelina Love.
Sure.
That's the Beautiful People. That was the Beautiful People. Now you
Indeed.
could say Lacey Von Erich, but Lacey wasn't really like.
Oh no, she was green as grass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that I was about to say. I mean,
Although she was nice to look at, but
yeah, exactly. She was more of the stunning beauty of the group than the actual wrestler, even though she is from the legendary Von Erich family.
Kerry Von Erich's daughter. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
So,
no disrespect to her.
oh no, not at all. And,
Not at all.
well, this is an agree to disagree. MF has more of a beautiful people vibe from Toxic Attraction, but for me, they remind me a little more of Dollhouse to me. So that's just how I feel. So, and you never know, MF. I mean, next week we could see Dolan and Jane win the women's tag team titles. It's a very realistic possibility, especially with how shaky Io and Zoe are. So we'll have to wait and see. So that goes down next week. And then also on top of that, Raquel Gonzalez, another match that we were supposed to have that got mysteriously called off for some odd reason. We're finally going to see Raquel Gonzalez and Frankie Monet throw down for the women's title. So we'll see if this is the big moment for Taya Valkyrie, the former Taya Valkyrie, to add another women's title to her collection after her long runs with the Reina Del Reyes title and the Knockouts title in Impact. So, but anyways, main event time. And MF. If you notice during the match, Braun Breaker, who, as we all know, is the son of Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin of the Steiner brothers, the nephew of Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. Is it just me, or did I see the Steiner recliner used last night?
You did. You absolutely did. Yes.
That was the Steiner recliner.
Yeah.
And I bet Uncle Big Papa Pump was saying, "That's my boy," right there. Mm-hmm. I bet he was grinning from ear to ear. I'm sure he was. He was like, he did it just as good as I did. So, yeah, the move that his uncle made famous many years ago. So, but anyway, so and what was the time of that fall again, MF?
Oh,
sorry about that.
Hold on. I want to say it was 9:47.
Felt a little. Maybe that's probably what it was with commercials, but anyways, this was the fight of the night. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Solid tag team match for the main event, but it was fairly formulaic. The focus was always about putting over Breaker. Pete Dunne and Rich Holland did their part, and Tommaso Ciampa remained dangerous throughout, but not enough to feel like he can defeat Breaker when the time comes. It depends on how long NXT is willing to wait, but it seems the next champion is already poised to be crowned. He is impressive and can do it all in the ring. He is the ideal physical specimen for NXT 2.0, which could not ask for a better future representative. And you saw it, MF. You saw it. They had a nice little moment after they won the match, but then Breaker
had his lustful eyes on Goldie,
and you saw the little stare down there.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what I just said, I know it may be too soon, but then again, how many times have we seen a lot of up and coming stars, right out of the box get pushed to the moon, literally, with in a very short period of time, and go all the way with the Rocket Pack. I mean, they did it with Hogan many years back in '84. They did it with Brock Lesnar in '02. Braun Breaker. I think he's being groomed to be the next NXT champion. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
I agree. I absolutely, positively agree. I think because of the fact that they want to make NXT more developmental, making young guys into stars and then transitioning them into this isn't the Triple H style. I don't know if Triple H was still running the company. I don't know if he would have even considered Braun Breaker as a legitimate threat. I don't know if he gets this big push as he's getting right now if Triple H is still running NXT. I kind of feel like right now more than ever before, this is a major benefit that Braun is getting. And the thing is that he's got a good skill set. I like what I see. I'm not really sure if he's that ready for a monster push, but if he gets it, good for him. I mean, there's really nothing more to add. Three and a
Absolutely.
half, fight
Yep.
of the night, no doubt. All in all, it was an underwhelming NXT. There
Amen.
was a lot of cutouts,
Oh yeah,
but
too many.
I mean, there was too many to count here.
Felt like a Monday Night Raw, for goodness sakes.
It did, and I honestly get that, and I get it that they're trying to develop the younger talent and trying to get us to give them a look and everything else, which I appreciate. Good, kudos to them for at least thinking outside of the box. What's the one thing we always criticize WWE for? Pushing fresh new talent in front of us.
Oh yeah.
They are. They're pushing fresh new talent. They're giving us an opportunity to look at these guys, the future of WWE. But the thing is, you're also saturating the thing by giving us small to next to nothing matches.
6 or 7 at least.
Yeah.
It's almost like an old school Superstars of Wrestling or Wrestling Challenge, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. I was about to go there. Or even early days of Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 1993, 1994, the early years of Monday Night Raw.
Or from another promotion, WCW Worldwide.
Yeah. And you could say Saturday Night. Saturday Night had those kind of shows. Nitro was their big show. Nitro was their biggest thing. But yeah, if you're talking about like a secondary show, yeah, Worldwide. You could say definitely more of a WCW Saturday Night. I could give you that. I could give you that easily. Yeah. Or even WCW Thunder. Even though Thunder was kind of
secondary,
like a secondary show, like a SmackDown, we were fine with that. But I get it. So yeah, no qualms, no problems. I'm not gonna waste too much time. As far as the overall rating goes,
very tough. I know.
Maybe 5, and I'm probably being generous with that. I don't think I can go any more than that. I mean, because I want to give credit where credit is due. You know, the Toxic Attraction promo was good. I liked the promo at the beginning of the night. I thought the main event was fine. So there was like maybe 4 good things about the show, and then the rest of it, forget it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to punish. So I thought this was all right. I don't want to slam it though. So
no.
Yeah, Anthony, I'll give it to you.
I'm going to be a little more generous. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Last week NXT needed to be a chaotic jumble because it had a lot to accomplish, and we get that. We had more of the same last night, and it still accomplished a lot, but it also made us wonder if this is going to be the norm. There will need to be a point where the show needs to calm down, and this wasn't bad. We got plenty more names established, but next week is pretty stacked. However, this pace cannot keep going, because the more of this we get, the more of these ratings we're going to give, and next time we're not going to be so generous. So you should consider yourselves lucky.
Yeah.
Because if this keeps up, we might have to channel our inner Bret Hart not impressed me.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
You don't want that.
Especially from me, being the Bret Hart guy here. So, but NXT, I mean, you're treading on dangerous water right now. You're on that razor's edge right now, and that's not a good thing. I mean, at this rate, you could end up actually being worse than Raw. Go figure. I thought Raw was worse.
I'm gonna say this. This is the classic. This is the classic Price is Right game show cliffhanger. Yodel guy. He's right now up to the 15 level, and he's going higher. You don't want to go off that cliff, but
next week's looking better. I mean, next week next week is a better show because we're gonna see. We got 3 title matches next week. We're going to see Raquel Gonzalez and Frankie Monet, the match that we should have had some time ago, but ended up getting called off for some odd reason. Not sure the reasoning, but we're going to see Raquel Gonzalez, Frankie Monet for the women's title. We're going to see Io Shirai, and Zoe Stark defending the women's tag team titles against Gigi Dolan and JC Jane of the Toxic Attraction. And Roderick Strong, no rest for the weary. He's already going to have his first cruiserweight title defense, and it's going to be against Grayson Waller, a young man who has definitely been one of the few bright spots of the new 205 Live of late. So, and I can vouch for that. So, it's a 6 out of 10 for now. Consider that very generous. But next week, MF, I got a little better feeling. I mean, considering we got 3 title matches and they all have the potential to be, halfway decent, every one of them. So,
oh yeah.
So maybe the rating will be better next week. But for right now, 6 for me. And now, MF, there's nothing more to say except, oh boy, the most anticipated AEW Dynamite featuring the most anticipated match in AEW history. And it wasn't even for the title of the world.
And we got it right out of the gate.
Unbelievable.
First fight of the night, AEW Grand Slam from Arthur Ashe Stadium, Flushing Meadows, New York, right in the Queenside boroughs of the 5 boroughs of New York City. And it was Kenny Omega versus the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. The match ends in a 30-minute draw. Time limit draw. All right. Normally, under these circumstances, this will automatically be ruled an NA.
Not tonight.
On our card. However, we cannot do it. I think an NA would be a cop-out in this situation. We got to give it a rating, and we will. It gets the 5-star rating. There's no way or no how that it doesn't get 5 stars. The only criticism I would have with this is the time limit draw. I would be not happy with the draw and everything else, but there is a reason why that happened. It actually is going to give us a second match. It has to give us a second match, and it will give us a second match. And this time, it will be for the AEW World Title. We're going to get the rematch. I think the anger point, or what made us say, what the hey, was because of the fact that it was the first match. And there was really nothing that we could have done at that point. So I get it. I mean, as unfortunate as the match was, and it is, it's very unfortunate that it ended like that. But it does beat the narrative. Both men are intellectually equal. They're both the greatest wrestlers in the world. They killed each other for 30 minutes. It's just a darn shame that we didn't get an actual outcome. But it was necessary. It does give us a second match. It's going to make the people go even more crazier for the rematch when they do finally get the rematch to go down. It's just a darn shame that the people of New York got to see one of the greatest matches in AEW history, but we don't get a winner. It's kind of one of those, it's like, what the bleep? We get it. We understand it. It was great. But, God, man, I mean, it kind of is one of those where it's one of the greatest matches we've ever seen. I don't know if I can really be mad over that there was a no outcome here, that it was a draw. It kind of feels like it was great booking. I just don't know if a draw would have really been the right thing to do. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's one of those where it's like, this was awesome, this was great, but why that ending? Why did you go with that? Why did you call that? Why did you pull that card out? Anthony Floyo is a 5 stars. But, I mean, I don't even know how you could even have booked an ending like that. I mean, it was as evenly matched as you could have done it, I just don't know how, like, and Kenny Omega already has come out on social media, and he already said it. No rematch. He's already telling the AEW universe there won't be a second match in his eyes.
Not your call, big boy. It's Tony Khan's call. And if we know Tony Khan, like we know Tony Khan, you know he's gonna want.
Oh, we got to run this back one more time. We got to run this back.
He's gonna want an immediate rematch at the earliest possible date. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. But like MF said, normally in situations like this, we would automatically consider these NAs. Not tonight. There ain't gonna be no damn NA tonight. MF absolutely got this one correct. It's exactly how I felt going in. Despite the fact that it was a draw, they let these two go for 30 minutes on television. I mean, if it was pay-per-view, like, oh, it's normal because of, pay-per-view, you get way more leeway in time. But on television, 30-minute match on TV? What? Wow. Without a doubt, despite the draw, I don't give a damn. 5-star classic. And as of now, this is my new match of the year for 2021 right now. The crowd was on its feet from start to finish. This match had the definition of a big fight field, despite not being for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. The fans definitely helped make it feel special. The story of this bout was about two men who have often been called the best in the world, trying to prove they get to claim that title. It was a simple story that was almost driven more by the fans than the wrestlers themselves. Bryan Danielson looked just as good as he ever has, and Kenny Omega seemed to approach this match like he would any big title defense. Both men left everything they had in the ring tonight. To say this match lived up to expectations might be an understatement. The finish might seem like a cop-out to some, but it might have been the smartest approach to this feud. Now, MF, I ain't no Johnny-come-lately on the block. I've seen a match like this before. We've all seen a match like this before. You know where I'm going with this, as I'm the professor of this show. Need I remind you about the inaugural Clash of the Champions, March 27th, 1988, the same day as WrestleMania 4, mind you, when Ric Flair and Sting battled for the then NWA World Heavyweight Championship in a 45-minute draw. Do you remember that, MF?
Yes, I remember.
5-star classic, correct?
Yes.
Didn't you get that same vibe from this match tonight?
I would say that, yeah. I would say most definitely.
And clearly Kenny Omega as the Ric Flair and Bryan Danielson was Sting in this case. I mean, but this match was not for the title. Just wait until they put the title on the line. I mean, we still got a bit of a ways to go before the next pay-per-view. The next pay-per-view is not till November 13th, a Saturday night, which is AEW All Out, which is Full Gear, rather.
Full Gear, yep.
Full Gear at the university, on the campus of the University of St. Louis. So I highly doubt they're going to hold it until then. I mean, I think it's going to be a future Dynamite. Obviously, no word on when that will be. I don't think it's going to be next week, but I think I think they're definitely going to save it for a future Dynamite.
Well, if Omega gets his way, Bryan's not getting another shot. And the thing is, he already demanded no. He already said no rematch. So I'm gonna say is that Bryan's probably gonna have to be resourceful and Khan. And I don't mean Tony Khan, but he might have to pull an Occupy Raw or something in order to go Omega into the fight. Oh, I think I could see that happening.
Oh, that would be epic. That would, I mean, one of the greatest segments in the history of Monday Night Raw when he was then known as Daniel Bryan, March of 2014, at Monday Night Raw at the FedEx Forum in Memphis, yeah. Occupy Raw, which is still to this day considered one of the greatest segments in Raw history.
Oh yeah.
And And Danielson was responsible for two of the greatest segments in Raw history. Not just that, but also his quote unquote grateful retirement speech.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see how this happens. Man, this was a war. This was a war. And the thing was, like we said, one of the guys who I know who was on my Discord group went to this show tonight, and he said it halfway through. Once it was getting close to the end, he's like, I think this is going to end in a time limit draw. And because he started hearing Justin Roberts announcing, there's only this amount of time left in the match. This amount of time left in the match.
I got that vibe too.
Huh?
I got that vibe too.
Once he started talking about that there was only this amount of time left in the match, I'm like, oh no, not a time limit draw. And once we got it, I'm like, at first I was like, oh man, really? Time limit draw?
Yep.
But then you think about it, you're like, it's the perfect, most logical way, to end that match. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is,
What a match.
So, I don't know. Next up we had, guys, was MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. MJF wins the match. 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
Solid 3 stars here. This was a fun match that gave Brian Pillman Jr. a chance to shine on a big stage against one of AEW's biggest standout stars since it began. He might not have won, but he probably earned a lot of fans. The limited use of Wardlow and Julia Hart was nice because it kept the fight competitive between the two wrestlers in the ring. MJF using Julia Hart as a shield was a nice and vintage heel move that we've seen so many times, most notoriously by the late Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth, but that's another story. This feels like the first of what could be several matches between these two. I think this feud is far from over, and it has plenty of room to improve. So I'm going to give this a solid 3, teetering on 3.25. But nonetheless, though, MF, in a way, you could say it was a little bit of an extended fun little sprint. How about that?
It was an extended fun little sprint. 3 is all right. I'll give it a 3-star rating as well. I really got nothing more to add. So next up we had was Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. Malachi Black wins the match. 11 minutes and 5 seconds. All right. Was I living in Bizarro World? Or was Malachi Black more of the face and Cody was more of the heel in this fight?
Crowd was booing him.
That crowd was on Cody.
Oh, that was SummerSlam 2004 in Toronto. Our favorite, no doubt.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I don't know what to say. I mean, this is another 3-star match. This was a solid fight. This was a good battle. I really got nothing more to add here. I thought it was a solid battle, and Anthony, I felt like the right man won, so it's yours.
Agreed, but I think you underscored it a little bit. I'm going to give this between 3.25 to 3.5. Cody Rhodes was supposed to be the babyface here, but by the time he was in the ring, it was clear the crowd was not going to cheer for him. The match was good, but what AEW has here is a chance to turn Cody heel in a very natural way. And we've seen him work as a heel before. He was very good as a heel. He really was. He can claim he took the high road and everyone booed him, so he is done taking the high road. In the meantime, Malachi Black can move on to bigger and better things. He has been great in this feud, and it'll be interesting to see if AEW decides to use the crowd's reaction to make him a fan favorite back when he was Aleister Black in NXT. So, we'll have to wait and see on that, but definitely a much more competitive match than their first match, which was very one-sided back on August the 4th at the Daily's Place in Jacksonville. But here tonight at Arthur Ashe Stadium, definitely a much better match. 3.25, 3.5 stars is my rating for this. And Michael Bullock is here. MF, let's catch him up.
All right, Bullock, you got a lot of catching up. We got NXT, and you also got the AEW. So there's only really... let me see. Now I gotta go and pull this all up again. Okay. with no, that's not what I needed. All right, let's see. No, I'm. All right, here we go. All right, so starting off with come on. All right, so starting off with NXT, we had the promo with Tommaso Ciampa. Give me a quick thought about that.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine promo, obviously, with how much it meant for Tommaso Ciampa to once again be the champion. So, yeah, there's nothing more I'll add to it. So, uh, onward, Fletch.
All right, Roderick Strong versus Kushida. Roderick Strong wins the title in 5 minutes and 42 seconds to become the new Cruiserweight Champion of the world.
Um, I'll give it about 1.5 to 2. I mean, this was way too short for my liking. I thought this would have gone maybe a little longer, but yeah, Roderick. But obviously, I'll actually have to give it 1.5 because he didn't win the title clean. Obviously, with some help from Diamond Mine. So yeah, 1.5 stars is my rating. Fletch, move on.
We had so many cutouts that we blew right by that. The only other match that you have to recap was Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker versus Pete Dunne and Rich Holland.
What was the time of the fall for it?
9 minutes and 47 seconds.
All right. Obviously, this was the fight of the night here. I'll give it about 2.5 to 3 for the effort here. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. And I mean, as far as my rating goes, man, oh man. I mean, obviously, not a lot of matches here. We had lots of cookie cutter promos here. So, I'm gonna have to give this about maybe 5.5 to 6 for this. I mean,
That's about right. That's pretty much par with what me and Florio said.
yeah, I mean, I was expecting much better, but only 3 matches on NXT for a 2-hour show.
Well,
No,
there was 6 overall, but the thing was, a lot of them were literally short. That's why we
uh,
really didn't have. So there was
no,
only like 2 quality matches.
yeah. So all in all, I mean, I was expecting much, but like I said, to me, the biggest disappointment was Roderick Strong and Kushida. I mean, I was expecting this to go longer, but for only that short amount of time, no. So there's really nothing more to say. So now let's get on to the one of the biggest AEW dynamites in a long time.
We started it off with the Kenny Omega versus Ryan Danielson. The fight ends in a 30-minute draw.
Oh man, did you guys actually rate it?
We rated it 5 stars. Me and Anthony both gave it 5-star ratings.
Now,
Wave the NA
normally,
for one night, Bullet. Come on.
you know what? After that, I think for one night only, I'm waving off the NA. I'm waving it off. This was just too damn good of a match. I mean, 5 stars. I mean, the hype was built into this match, a dream match, and boy howdy, it lived up to the hype. Yes, it was a little disappointing of the 30-minute draw, but for this one night only, I'm not gonna give it an NA. It's 5 stars all the way, baby. So nothing else to say, Fletch. It's yours.
And now the only other match that you got to get into, I hate to do this to you, bro, but I know I got to. MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. MJF wins the match in 9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh man, I can't believe that scumbag won. Yeah. Good match though. All in all, I'll give it 3 star, 3.25. But yeah, I mean, this was a fine, a good match for what it was. But man, I mean, after everything, all the insults, I was really hoping that Brian Pillman Jr. would get one over on MJF, but obviously the people in New York are gonna go home disappointed because this scumbag is gonna rub it up in all our faces and say, "Oh, you don't like it? Here, I won the match, so I'm gonna rub it in your faces so you like it. Sorry, you piece of you know what. We don't like it." So, nothing else to say. Fletch, it's yours. I could say something else, but I'm not going there.
Yeah, please don't. Next up, the only other match that you haven't talked about yet, Mike Bullock, Malachi Black beats Cody Rhodes in 11 minutes and 5 seconds.
I'll give this about 3.5 stars. I mean, this was another good match here, but once again, Malachi Black basically gets one over on Cody Rhodes. But let's just say Fletch, he channeled his inner Quang. He spit something right into Cody's eye.
Yeah,
I mean,
missed him.
He missed it.
With all due respect, Bullock, I wouldn't really use Quang here. I was thinking more like the Great Muta. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't know about the Great Muta much as you guys do, so.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. You could also say Tajiri. Tajiri also did the mist as well.
Yeah, Quang or Tajiri on my end. I mean, because I don't know the Great Muta as much as you guys do, so I really can't quite say it. So
yeah. Now,
all in all,
fair enough. I sympathize with you, Michael Bullock. What I would encourage you to do is after this show tonight, or whenever you get an opportunity, go on YouTube and look up some of the Great Muta and some of his matches in the day. Then you'll understand why Florio mentioned Muta.
I will definitely do that.
Definitely suggested.
Yeah, I definitely will. If not tonight, then sometime, maybe tomorrow. But sometime I'll definitely get a chance to get a look at it. And then when I do, I'll definitely get a better sense of it. So
do it on Peacock. We got it.
Oh, yeah. From the WCW wing, yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, I can check that too. So,
right.
Yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
Next up, we had was Sting and Darby Allin versus FTR. Sting and Darby Allin wins the match in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Does it go to Michael Bullock, Anthony? Should we give it to Bullock? Let him lead off on this?
I think
because it has been you and I the whole night. Like, we've been going back and forth.
Take it. I'll take it. All just right. To save you some time here.
So. All right. Yeah.
Go, Bullock. It's yours.
Yeah. So, this was another good match here. I'll give it maybe about another. I'll give it 3 stars for the effort here. I mean, I'm not surprised that Sting and Darby Allin went over here. I know some people would have wanted to see FTR go over on these two, but so nice victory for them. But there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours. I mean, Sting and Darby Allin. I guess we could say that combo's really worked out well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The combo worked out well. It's another big victory for him. Another 3. I'm going to say another 3.5 star match. Excellent outcome, at least in my eyes. I thought the right decision. So solid win. Anthony, it's yours.
I'll give this about 3.25. This was another match that had a lot of fun moments, but it didn't feel like much was accomplished. FTR would have gained a lot more from a win than Sting and Allin, but maybe that is being saved for a rematch. Sting looked great for the limited time he spent in the ring. Again, I say he's 62 years old, folks. 62 years old, and he still looks great for the limited time he spent in there. He was bumping around like he was friggin' 30 again. Unbelievable. He and Darby Allin did a good job balancing their time in the ring. So both guys had time to shine. 3 to 3.25 stars. So with that being said, MF, let's move on to a very surprising main event, which I was not expecting to be the main event, but it was.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, puts the AEW Women's World title on the line against Ruby Soho, winner of the bout, 13 minutes and 20 seconds, and still the AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She wins it. Solid match. Second best fight of the evening. About 3.5 stars. Yes, I'm going to penalize it. It could have been 3.75 to 4, but Jamie Hayter and Rebel did get involved in the match. It did lead to a little bit of a crooked finish, but it served its purpose. Ruby Soho should not have been the AEW Women's World Champion. It would have been a major disservice. It would have been a major mistake if they would have put the belt on her that fast. I think she is better more as a chaser, and to chase this title and to try to end the reign like that would have been a major, that would have done no help for any woman in that involved. For Britt Baker to win the match and to successfully defend the title the way she did was perfect. I think it was a good match. It was a good foil. There's really nothing more to add here. So let's just say, and let's just go back, and it's back to you. It's to you, Anthony. 3.5 stars. Definitely one of the best fight of the evenings. But in my opinion, the right woman won.
Agreed. Even though there was that part of me that really wanted to see Ruby win the title. I mean, especially after how her last employer criminally underutilized her. But, you know, it would have been a nice way to stick it to them. But that's all right. 3.5 stars. I agree with the rating. This was a great performance from two women who have known each other for several years but had little time in the ring together. Dr. Britt Baker, winning was the right call, especially since she used a classic heel tactic to win. Ruby Soho is still protected by the loss, and DMD gets to keep her reign going. Putting this in the main event was a smart move. The crowd was into everything on this show, so highlighting the women's division in the top spot gave it a little boost, and that's really all there is to say on that. So, solid 3.5 stars. I could probably say second best fight of the night next to the opener, which we're all going to be talking about for years to come. So not much more to say. Bullock, 3.5 for me. Bullock, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Britt, the main event for the women's title. I mean, yes, Dr. Britt winning was the right move, but at the same time, Bullock, I mean, considering how much you and I supported Ruby Soho, I mean, there was that small part of me that kind of wanted her to win, though. That's all right.
Yeah, there was a part of me too that I wanted to see Ruby Soho win the title, just so she could stick it to the WWE after she was criminally underused in that company. But yeah, I mean, Dr. Britt Baker winning was the right move. I mean, Ruby Soho will get her moment eventually, but just not right now. So hold on, folks. She'll get her moment, just not right now. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
Anthony, you lead off on the overall review.
All I can say is, as a whole, this episode of Dynamite, the most anticipated Dynamite maybe ever. We always ask that question: would it live up to the hype? Answer: oh hell yeah, it lived up to the hype, and then some. Like I said, as a whole, this episode of Dynamite, I believe, is what was the best one yet. Every match was either good or great, and the couple of non-wrestling segments, the one with CM Punk and mainly, and the couple of non-wrestling segments didn't really overstay their welcome, which is always a good thing. And some things could have been, a smidgen better, but still, this was, like I said, the greatest Dynamite show I've ever seen. There's a part of me that wants to pull the trigger and give this a perfect 10 because of everything that went down. But I think the best we can go is maybe 9.5 to 9 3/4, because this was the best damn episode of Dynamite I ever saw, we ever saw. The venue was amazing. The venue looked great. Arthur Ashe Stadium, give it up. It looked absolutely amazing. It looked really good. And it didn't really look like a stadium. It made it look like an arena almost. And that was pretty cool. So, give it up for that. The venue was great. The crowd was red hot. Commentary top notch as always. Excalibur, JR, Tony Schiavone. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. You're doing a hell of a job. We love it. And all the matches, like I said, not one match sucked. That opening match, Kenny Omega, Bryan Danielson, that was an instant classic. I don't know if you're ever going to see a better match like that if you live to be 100 plus years old. So I don't know what else there is for me to say here, guys. I can't quite give it the perfect 10, even though my heart is bursting to do so, because there were a couple of questionable things, mainly the draw there, but because of that, but I'm still gonna give it, the high. I'm still giving this Dynamite the highest rating I've ever given it, and I'm sure you guys will concur. 9.5 to 9 3/4 out of 10. Greatest Dynamite show, which featured the match of the year to this point for me. So there isn't much to say. Michael Bullock, almost a 10, but not quite. Missed it by that much.
Yeah, 9.5 for me. I want to give it the 10, but I can't, because there were some things that prevented this from being that 9.5. But all in all, it did live up to the hype. Kudos to the people at Arthur Ashe Stadium for putting on one heck of an AEW Dynamite, and yeah, boys, we got one more show from there, and that comes this Friday night with the AEW Rampage. So we'll see. And it's a 2-hour Rampage, so we'll see what they have in store for us, along with the matches that's already going down. So 9.5 for me, Fletch. It's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 9.5. I'm not gonna give it. It doesn't. It's dangerously close to 10. It doesn't get it, but this was a damn good show. Nothing more to say, guys. We're just gonna go very quickly on the preview of WWE Extreme Rules that goes down this Sunday night from the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, live on Peacock and on the WWE Network. Started off with one of the match that is a non-title match, the only non-title match of the evening, as it will be Liv Morgan and versus Carmella. I'm gonna go with Liv. Liv's getting a major hot streak going on lately, so I'm gonna go with Liv here. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, just go quick with this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be Liv Morgan, I think, and I'm going to go on the record and say I think this is going to be the worst fight of the night. So move on. Bullet.
Yeah, Liv Morgan wins this one. So let's just move on, Fletch.
All right, starting off with the first title match of the evening, the WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Usos put the titles on the line against the Street Profits. Florio, go.
This is tough to call. It really is. The Profits have managed to fight their way back into a spot as challengers. The Usos have been rolling since reuniting and aligning with Roman, having fully conquered Rey and Dominic, Mysterio. They're on to their next challengers. I want to say the Profits win, but I got this sneaking feeling the Usos are going to find a way. So I'm going to reluctantly say winners and still champions, the Usos. But Michael Bullock, I would not at all be surprised if the Street Profits get the smoke and win the titles. I wouldn't. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, part of me, I think it's I want to say the Street Profits will win, but it's got to be the Usos. That's who I'm going with to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So Fletch, it's yours.
All right, I'm going with the Usos as well. A complete agreement on this one, guys. Next up, Raw Women's title on the line. Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
I mean, I love what I've seen from Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, the interactions, but part of me wants to see Alexa Bliss win the title, but unfortunately, I just don't see it going down. I'm going with the Queen Charlotte Flair to hold on to the Raw Women's title. So Fletch, it's yours.
I think it's going to be an awkward finish. I don't think it's going to be a clean finish. I could see them extending the storyline a little bit, but Charlotte Flair will some way somehow walk away with the Raw Women's title for the moment. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm going to guess that we'll get some sort of weird finish. My guess is that we probably won't see either of them take a clean pinfall loss, but I am going to go with Charlotte to retain the title. Who knows? Maybe this could lead. Remember what happened Monday night on Raw? Charlotte said, and I quote, "I want the 5 feet of fury." Is there a chance we get that down the road? Maybe. So for that to happen, something's going to have to happen here. But I think Charlotte walks out with the title for now. So let's move on.
All right. Next up we have is the triple threat for the United States title. Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus. I got to give it to Damian Priest. I think it would be a major disservice if he loses this belt right away. He just won it fairly recently. I think they're going to let him keep it a little while longer. And he's having a great run with the title, man. He's like, I'm so about Damian Priest right now. Very high on this guy. Dude, draft coming up. I would love to see him bring that belt to SmackDown. I honestly would like to see a trade-off. I went, as much as I know I'm going to miss Rick Boogs and the Intercontinental title, dude, if Damian Priest comes to SmackDown and bring the U.S. title to the Blue brand, dude, I'd be celebrating. I would be very pumped about that. So, yeah, Damian Priest wins the match. Floyo, it's yours.
You just gave me an interesting idea there, MFO, but I'll get there in a minute. Should be a solid and hard-hitting bout. I will go with Priest to retain. I think Jeff Hardy's going to eat the fall here. I think that's the only reason why they put him in this match, because they don't want to protect him and Sheamus. But very interesting idea here, MF, that you just gave me here. If Damian gets drafted to SmackDown, I think you definitely put him into consideration, if not at the very top of the list of possible guys to finally dethrone Roman.
Yeah, true.
So I could possibly see him maybe if he gets drafted to SmackDown, there's a very good chance, maybe, just maybe, mind you, maybe he could be the guy to finally dethrone the Tribal Chief. So just something to think about, some food for thought. So, but that's only if he gets drafted. If he gets drafted to SmackDown, then obviously that means Nakamura and or Rick Boogs in the Intercontinental Heavyweight title comes to Raw, and that's going to be a damn shame, because we've always gotten a kick out of Nakamura, Boogs, and Pat McAfee rocking out.
Oh, Pat's going to be so mad if that happens, but it could happen.
Very, very possible. We'll find out a week from Friday. So,
yep.
So not much more to say here. I'm going with Damian Priest, the winner and still United States Heavyweight Champion. He'll get the fall on Jeff Hardy. Michael Bullock, unanimous.
Yeah, it's unanimous for me as well. I got Damian Priest winning, but getting back to that quickly, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I hope Nakamura and Boog stay on SmackDown just for that obvious reason, just to see Pat McAfee continue to rock on whenever he comes out.
Absolutely.
I mean, I would not be surprised if he goes to Raw, but part of me is saying, please let him stay on SmackDown just for that reason.
I gotta tell you, the last time they were rocking out, he had to duck and cover because that's when Commander Aziz, and Apollo Crews showed up, and man, McAfee, he went gazelle jumping, man. I never seen him jump. He literally was jumping like a hyena. He needed to get the hell out of there before he got taken out. If you saw, there was a video that posted online where basically McAfee hopped from the table to the chair, from the chair to the ground, basically trying to run away from what was a surefire attack. So we'll see. Next up, SmackDown Women's title on the line. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Anthony Florio. It's yours.
Well, we know the story here. Just like with Damian Priest, Damian Priest won the U.S. title at SummerSlam MF. So that's when he won it. So that was about a month ago. Same can be said for Becky. We know what happened. 26 seconds. If they had given us a full match on that night, that would have made SummerSlam even better. But anyways, we don't have to, this time around. We don't have to hope. We are going to get a full match between these two, and it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be even better than Charlotte and Alexa. I really do. However, I think there's more. I think there's more money with Bianca or another babyface challenger chasing the newly heel turned Becky Lynch. So I think it's going to be much more competitive than the SummerSlam bout. But to me, the winner and still the SmackDown Women's Champion, the man Becky Lynch. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, same outcome as SummerSlam, but I think it's going to be a much more competitive bout this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be a much better outcome. It's going to be a better match this time around. But in the end, the result will still be the same. The winner and still SmackDown Women's Champion, the man, Becky Lynch. So, Fletch, as I give it to you, I guess we could say this heel Becky Lynch, it's working out to perfection this time.
It looks like WWE has found their niche. They found the right person to be the perfect heel for Becky Lynch to go heel, to go rogue. They paired it up with Bianca Belair and it worked. The fans love Bianca so much, and the way that Becky has been portrayed as the heel is made it even better than ever before. So no, you're absolutely right. Home run. I love it. I feel it. I thought it was amazing. Um, Becky Lynch wins, leads us to the main event of the evening. As of now, there is no WWE title match. There's only the Universal title on the line. Roman Reigns versus the Demon. Finn Balor. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
And you're forgetting one thing, Fletch. This match is going to be contested under Extreme Rules.
There you go.
As Justin Roberts would say. I know I didn't do my best Justin Roberts impersonation.
That was pretty good. I'll give you that.
Yeah, thank you. But anywho, yeah, Roman Reigns has basically pushed Finn Balor to the point that Finn Balor needed to bring back the Demon, and yeah, this is definitely going to be a really good match. The Demon's definitely going to give Roman some fits, but in the end, the Tribal Chief will remain the Universal Champion. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
I got to go with Roman Reigns as well. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. With this being an Extreme Rules match, this is going to be a fun match. I'll even go as far as to say this is going to steal the damn show. I think this is going to be the fight of the night. I think it's going to be even better than the match they had on SmackDown a few weeks ago. It is a tough one. I mean, I don't see Roman Reigns losing, but I also don't think the Demon should take a clean loss here. But then again, with this being an Extreme Rules match, they're probably going to find a way to protect both guys. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to book it to protect both guys. But as much as I would love to see Finn Balor regain the title that he technically never lost because he had to relinquish it because of injury, I would love to see it, but I don't think he's quite the guy to dethrone the Tribal Chief. I mean, I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't think it's going to be him. So I know it's going to be Roman and Lesnar, but honestly, does it really need the title? Those two guys could sell based on name value alone.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But you know they're going to want to make that for the Universal Championship. So for that to happen, the Tribal Chief will have to find yet another way to get out of this. So winner and still the Universal Champion and still the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So with that being said, MF, let's put a bow on it.
All right. And
Yeah,
we are.
and especially since there's a certain beast waiting in the ring in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he will. He will. That's going to be very interesting to see, guys. We'll get into that when we get there. We're done for the night. Tomorrow night, yeah, very special edition of NFL Thursday. Yeah, you would say, wait a minute, isn't this supposed to be on Saturday? Well, due to work, due to some commitments beyond all of our controls, the next 2 weeks, this is what it's going to look like. So, NFL Thursday tomorrow night. We're going to go into all the action, week 3 of the NFL season. And then Sunday night is actually going to be Cerebral Smack Talk. So SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and we're also going to recap this Extreme Rules. So we're going to do that on Sunday night. So until then, guys, thank you, Michael Bullock. Thank you, Anthony Florio. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern, for NFL Thursday. Until then, so long, everybody, and have a good night.